Now to breaking news in the Middle East. An Israeli air raid in Gaza City has killed at least 10 Palestinians, mostly children. It's the deadliest single strike since the Battle of Hamas erupted earlier this week. Since Monday, more than 125 Palestinians and at least 8 Israelis have been killed. The U.S. and others urging diplomacy as a means to end the violence. Tomorrow, the UN Security Council will hold a meeting on the situation in the Middle East. And an Israeli airstrike in Gaza today destroyed a building that housed offices of the Associated Press, Al Jazeera, and other media outlets. The strike came nearly an hour after the military ordered people to evacuate the building. The attack brought the entire 12-story building down. Incredible and scary video there. There was no immediate explanation for why it was attacked, but the Associated Press said it was the latest step in the Israeli military to silence reporting from the territory. And Associated Press president and CEO Gary Pruitt issued a statement saying he's shocked and horrified about the attack this morning. Pruitt says, quote, "The world will know less about what is happening in Gaza because of what happened today."
We start with breaking news. The White House says President Biden spoke with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu on the phone. It's unclear if their call happened before or after an Israeli airstrike destroyed an office building housing 2 prominent media outlets. Both Al Jazeera and the Associated Press say their staff were warned to evacuate before a missile struck the building. Just a few moments after that strike, the building collapses into rubble. An anchor for Al Jazeera English gave this emotional response on the air.
This channel will not be silenced. Al Jazeera will not be silenced. We can guarantee you that right now.
The AP also putting out a statement in written form. We are shocked and horrified that the Israeli military would target and destroy the building housing AP's bureau and other news organizations in Gaza. They have long known the location of our bureau and new journalists were there. The statement continues. This is an incredibly disturbing development. We narrowly avoided a terrible loss of life. The world will know less about what is happening in Gaza because of what happened today. So this is the latest escalation in a week of extraordinary violence. Palestinian officials say 139 people have been killed in Gaza, another 1,000 plus wounded. Meanwhile, rocket fire from Hamas continues targeting Israeli cities, killing at least 8 civilians. Israel's defense minister saying a short time ago they are not seeking escalation, but they are ready for any scenario. CNN is covering every angle of this story. Nick Robertson is in Ashkelon, Israel. Arlette Saenz is at the White House, and Eric David Miller will give us his analysis from Washington, D.C. Let me begin with you, Arlette Saenz at the White House. What more are you learning about the conversation that Biden had with Netanyahu?
Well, Fred, the White House says that President Biden spoke with Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu today. We are still waiting to hear exactly what was discussed in that call and also when that call took place. But the Israeli side has released a very short readout of this conversation, and it says that the Prime Minister informed President Biden of the actions that Israel has taken and plans that they are planning to carry out in the future. He also said that the Prime Minister thanked the president for unwavering support from the United States in their right to defend themselves, and also stressed that they're trying to avoid any innocent parties being involved in these situations. Now, this all comes as there are rising concerns about civilian casualties in Gaza. We have not heard specifically yet from the White House about what they would describe as transpiring in this phone call. But earlier today, there was a tweet from White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki, and she said, "We have communicated directly to the Israelis that ensuring the safety and security of journalists and independent media is a paramount responsibility." Now, that statement does not exactly directly address that Israeli airstrike, which flattened that building in Gaza that housed some media outlets. So we will see whether the White House will offer any further comment on that, whether the president specifically raised that in his phone call with Netanyahu. This is the second call that the president has had with Netanyahu just this week. And earlier in the week, the president has said that Israel has a right to defend itself. But we will see if these growing casualties and this simmering tension might provoke the White House to offer any further type of comment or change in tone in their approach.
All right, Arlette Saenz at the White House. Thanks so much. Nick Robertson back with us now. You've been watching this in real time. You're now in Ashdod. Earlier you were in Ashkelon. So what have you been seeing and why did you move?
Nightfall along the border, the intensity of strikes the previous night along those sorts of positions increased. This location we're at here, sirens went off here last night. There were incoming rounds intercepted mostly by Iron Dome defensive system. One building was hit here in Ashdod last night. Tonight, so far, sirens not going off in this town, but south of here, their sirens have been going off. Hamas said that their response to the targeting of that media building would be to target Tel Aviv again. They targeted Tel Aviv earlier today. The sirens were going off there. They targeted not only Tel Aviv, but the area around it. And one man, a 50-year-old man, was caught in the street when one of the Hamas rockets managed to get through the Iron Dome defensive system. He was killed in the street there. So right now here it feels relatively quiet, but it did the previous night. I think the bigger picture here at the moment is this. That is, the scale and number of rockets that have been fired from Gaza has been decreasing over the past few days. The question I think on a lot of people's minds is, what is Hamas's threat? Are they going to carry through on it to have a big retaliation striking areas around Tel Aviv? Or are we now seeing a slow ramping down of these rockets coming and the strikes on Gaza? And it's not clear quite yet. This night should be a good indication of how it's going to play.
All right, Nick Robertson near the Israeli Gaza border. Thank you so much. Be safe.